Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Office of Consumer Credit Commissioners stakeholder meeting to discuss rule amendments on requirements for military licensing for residential mortgage loan originators, or RMLOs. My name is Matt Nance, and I'm the OCCC's General Counsel. I'm joined by other members of the OCCC staff, including Commissioner Leslie Pettyjohn, Director of Licensing, Finance, and Human Resources, Moran Diamond, and Senior Paralegal Ginger Harmon, who's acting as our meeting organizer. We're holding this meeting through an online webinar, and I want to thank everyone for joining us. Getting input from stakeholders is a really important part of our rulemaking process, and these meetings help us make sure we can produce the best rules possible. Our webinar platform is GoToWebinar. Some of you might be listening on your phones, some may be watching on computers, some may be doing both. For those of you watching on your computer, there's a questions window where you can submit comments to staff. If you have technical questions about using the webinar, you can type them in and Ginger will try to answer those. We're discussing a pre-comment draft of rule amendments that's available on the OCCC's webpage for recent and upcoming rules. On that webpage, you can see the draft rules by clicking the link for RMLO military licensing rule. If you have any comments on the rule amendments, you can go ahead and type those in at any time, and I'll be getting to those in just a few minutes. And if you're on a computer with a mic, there's a function allowing you to raise your hand and we can let you make a comment verbally. We're talking about rule amendments that come out of SB 422, a bill that the Texas legislature passed in the legislative session earlier this year. SB 422 amends licensing requirements for military service members, military spouses, and military veterans in Chapter 55 of the Texas Occupations Code. Those requirements apply to occupational licenses, they apply to occupational licenses that must be obtained by individuals, such as the RMLO license. And this rule action updates our current rule at 7 Texas Administrative Code Section 2.108 to conform to SB 422's statutory amendments. So first, I'd like to summarize the rule and then lay out the proposed timeline for the rule, and then you'll have a chance to provide comments. There are 3 primary changes being made in Section 2.108. First, we'd specify that the OCCC will process an RMLO license application no later than 30 days after receiving a complete license application from a qualifying applicant who is a military service member, military veteran, or military spouse. Second, we'd specify that certain authorizations apply to military service members in addition to the current language for military spouses. And third, for military service members or spouses who were applying based on their authority in another jurisdiction where they're currently licensed, we'd specify that the OCCC will review available information in NMLS, the nationwide system for licensing RMLOs, within 30 days after the licensee submits required information. So that's the summary of the draft amendments. Here's a proposed timeline for the rule amendments. You can see that we are requesting informal pre-comments by next Thursday, July 20th. We intend to propose the amendments at the Finance Commission's August 18th meeting. There would be an official comment period during the month of September. We'd present the rule for adoption at the Finance Commission's October meeting, and the rule would be effective in November 2023. This is, of course, a tentative timeline, and all of this is subject to the Finance Commission's approval of the rules. So with that, I have summarized this rule action, and I'll open things up to comments on the rule amendments. Again, there are 2 ways to provide your feedback through this webinar. First, you can type your comment out and send it to us through the webinar's question feature, or if you're on a computer with a mic, there should be a function allowing you to raise your hand. Also, if you have a longer written question, feel free to type a quick message into the question field and GoToWebinar, just briefly explaining that you have a longer message. So Ginger, do we have any written questions or comments through the webinar?
No, we don't have any questions or comments at this time or hand raised.
Okay. Well, I will wait for about 1 minute just to see if any questions come through. Again, if you have a verbal comment you'd like to make, feel free to raise your hand. If there's an issue with that, feel free to type in a quick comment into the questions field. And if you have a longer written question, feel free to type in something quick so we can give you some more time to type out the longer question. I will wait for about 1 minute starting now. Okay, I don't see any hand raises or questions.
That's correct. We don't have any questions or comments.
Okay. Well, in that case, I will wrap up. I want to thank everyone who joined or participated. Again, rule updates are available on the OCCC webpage for recent and upcoming rules. We'll also be posting the audio of this meeting. We are accepting written pre-comments on this rule until 5 p.m. next Thursday, July 20th. Please email those to me at rule.comments@occc.texas.gov, which is our email address for rule comments. Thank you all for attending. Please be safe out there, and we will see you next time. Thank you.